We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. We're live on Facebook for TED Tackles. And not to be mistaken with my 1982 footballing show where I teach you how to break shins. This is about me, Ted Hankey, tackling subjects and all that, you know what I mean? And your questions. So I want your questions tonight. Normally, I'm joined by President Trumpy, but he can't make it tonight. I think he's done too much bleach or something like that. But I am joined by a very worthy replacement, and it is our good Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. Welcome to the show, Boris.
Thank you so much, Ted. It's great to be here, and also as a joke, what I decided to do is I decided to send Donald Trump a shitload of bleach. So he's now got a shitload of bleach at the White House, and he cannot move. It's fucking hilarious. I'm proud. It's absolutely great. So yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking out the time to join us, Boris. I know. Who's that? Who's that there? That's not your lass.
That is just the get out.
That's not your lass.
That is the cleaner. That is the cleaner.
Yeah, nice cleaning uniform. You've got form for this, Boris. I know you like to be dipping your old sausage about.
I as you would say in Middlesbrough, I swear down on my life that is the cleaner. So
right.
So there we go. Hello, Bozza. Hello, Jeffrey Ainsworth Senior. I love that, Bozza. I love it when people call me Bozza.
Yeah. No, Boris.
When people call
me Belwith. Do you know what that means?
Bozza. I love it because it makes me feel like I'm part of the society that everybody's in. So it's yes. Oh, by the way, Ted, what is a Belwith? I think I need to be educated on that.
You should know this, Boris, because you're surrounded by loads of them in the Houses of Parliament. Jacob Rees-Mogg, he's a Belwith. Gove, he's a massive Chebend. Hancock, I don't even need to change his surname.
Just so I can remember all of these names. So when I see them at work tomorrow, I'm going to walk in. I'm going to say, Michael Gove, you Belwith, and then I will go up to Jacob Rees-Mogg, and I'll say, Jacob Rees-Mogg, you. What was the other one? Chebend. I will say, you Chebend. But I think I get them the wrong way round. So it was Michael Gove is the Chebend and Jacob Rees-Mogg is the Belwith. Is that correct?
You can do it that way. It doesn't really matter. They all fall into the same category.
I really cannot wait to go in and call them all names tomorrow at work. That will be hilarious. That will raise my spirits, that will. So yes.
So, I've got a question for you. Like how are you feeling now after you nearly died?
Well, I did, and I've got to say, it was quite a scary experience. Hello, Richie Barnes. So nice to see you. Yes, it was a very, very scary experience, I've got to say. But our NHS saved my life, and they have saved a lot of lives. So if you can at home, everybody, a round of applause for the NHS and raise a glass to the NHS because they are fantastic. And I've called my child after one of the doctors, Wilfred, and I couldn't have thought of a better name that would suit my family, Wilfred.
Yeah. I've got to applaud. I really have got to applaud the NUS because I get 10% off a Top Man because of them. So what? NHS. Oh, sorry, I thought it was the NUS. Right.
It's fine. I'm used to this when I have conversations with Brian Abbott occasionally. So we're fine. Don't worry.
Good. Well, I've got some questions for you because we've got a lot of viewers at home, all watching, and they love the show. And we've got a question here from Sean Gilgannon. Is that the last that professor was shagging? I don't know what he means by that.
Well, what happened was I had to suspect. Shall I just spill the beans on everybody?
Do it. Yes.
Yes. Come on. Yes. Basically, what happened was he had to call. He basically called up for a bit of nookie, for a bit of shag. When he shouldn't have been. He should have been social distancing. But he couldn't help himself, could he? His brain was in his bell end, and I found out about this, so I had to get rid of him. Absolutely, we can't be messing around.
No, it's good. We had a question earlier on come up on screen. We'll answer this one of Colin Siggy shortly, but I believe it was, let me have a look. Yeah, Paul Temp Senior New, and he said, "Hi Ted, can you ask Boz if their lass's flange is healed up yet? Because pregnancy is it's a bit of a stress on the old flange. How's it looking down there, mate? Rumour has it, it looks a bit like a broken sofa."
I've got to say it's rather sweet. Well, as of any pregnancy, it has sewn up remarkably because if you're with the Prime Minister or if you're royalty, you have a flange that immediately sews up and you are fine. I mean, look at Kate Middleton. You know, hers was the same. We have the same treatment, so we have the same doctors, and they are fantastic, and they make sure that the wound is now a non-wound, and it looks absolutely beautiful down there still.
Oh well, I'll give you a little bit of tip from my experience. I once went with a lass who'd had a few kids and that, and then afterwards, God's honest truth, it was like opening up a cheese toastie, honestly.
Oh, for goodness sake, that is absolutely horrific.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I have been in that situation many times. I mean, there's a lot of stories about me and Michael Gove over the years, but I'm sure we can speak about those another time.
Good. Sarah Brettle has asked, she's a regular on the show. Hiya, Sarah. Boris, when will schools open? Surely June is too early. It's a serious question.
It is a very serious question. Thank you so much, Sarah Brettle. I feel like this is what, you know, when I do my daily press briefings, I feel like it's Sarah Brettle from the Daily Mail. I feel like she has one of those names, Sarah Brettle. I absolutely love that. So, Sarah, what I would say to you, when are schools going to be back open? Well, I suggest you tell me when schools should be open, and I'm sure every parent would say the same, because of the fact that people are now getting fucking sick of their kids and they want them back. And there are too many mums and dads out there who are busting for a shag. So I really think that will be as soon as possible. There is nothing worse, is there, Ted? I mean, come on, you must be.
I'm telling you,
absolutely busting to blow your load.
Yeah.
And the bloody children start crying. You think, oh, for fuck's sake, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, I know. You feel, mate, my balls are fizzing all the time now. And to be honest, Julie's knocking around. I can't even knock one out because she's like, hey, do you want some beans on toast? Do you want some spaghetti on toast? Do you want half of this burger? She just won't leave me alone. And I'm like, Julie, I want to try and have a little knuckle shuffle here.
A knuckle shuffle? That sounds quite intense. I mean, what is a knuckle shuffle?
It's basically my way of saying having a good.
A knuckle shot. Oh, so in another word, sorry, I've always been taught, and the only word that I know for this is masturbate. So yeah, I'm very confused. But do keep going with them, Ted, because I got to say I do love these slang phrases for masturbation, because obviously at Eton we do not learn anything like that, and it's a bloody damn shame.
It is, yeah. Colin Siggy's asked, how many kids have you got now, Boris, you dirty get?
Colin Siggy, the amount of children that I have, I have 5 children. Sorry, no, I have 4 children. Ignore the other one. Yes, I've got 4 children, and they are all fit and well. And the Boris family is feeling proud, and the Boris bollocks are doing their bloody job.
Yeah, it's a good question, actually, because I don't see a problem with it, because if you can afford to have 5, have them. You don't stop scruffers having 5 motorbikes, do you? They can afford it. So you can have 5 kids, Boris.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, to be fair, the stressful job that I have as well, I suppose it is a lot to take in, but, you know, I think sometimes I'm just not very careful.
Yeah, I've got a question here from Matt Oakes. He's asking me, he's asking Boris actually, when can the Thornaby Scuttlers do the dogging again? Matt's a member of our dogging group where we regularly meet in the car park of the Griffin in Thornaby. And we just proper go for it. And now we've been doing virtual dogging at the moment. It doesn't quite have the same effect. When can we go dogging again, Boris? When are you going to allow us to get out there and release ourselves on someone else's escort window?
I completely feel your pain, Matt Oakes. I certainly feel your pain, as I was once a member of one of these clubs, and I would quite like to actually come as a Prime Minister's visit after this lockdown, just so I can meet everybody at that dogging club, as they seem reasonable and pleasant people, and basically people who we want in our country, and they clearly work hard because they obviously are very determined people, and they certainly want it to happen. So, Ted, I cannot really answer that question, but as soon as it does happen, what I will do is I will make sure that government funding goes into the Thornaby Dogging Club. Yes.
Cool. I like that. Good. We need to get it back up and running, you know what I mean? Because, like I say, people have got bollocks to need emptying.
Absolutely.
He's a good one off Richie Barnes, and I agree with this one. Boris, we need football back ASAP. I think that needs to be a priority over everything else. So forget everyone being able to go back to work and stuff like that. Can we just have the footy back, please?
Yes, I completely get what you're saying. And I don't know whether you saw me last play football. I absolutely wiped him out. I absolutely smashed him out, didn't I? Wasn't it fantastic to watch?
Was it a child? Was it a child you smashed?
Oh, that was a different occasion. However, but he was being a little shit and he deserved it anyway. So,
yeah.
Anyway, Ted, yes, I've got to say, I do love football. I love all of the sports that are here in our country. And listen, as soon as we got the okay from the medical experts, the better. And we can literally get on with it as soon as we can.
This is a very good question of Martin Sturman. Hi, Boris. Did you have a threesome with the cheeky girls? I want to know this answer as well. Did you?
Actually, let me answer. Thank you so much for the question, Martin Sturman. No, unfortunately not. But I tell you who did. It was Lem Bitopic. Can you remember the politician Lem Bitopic? He left a girl who was on the weather on the news, and he literally ended up having a threesome with the cheeky girls.
Wow.
He's a bastard as well. The lucky bastard. I don't know how he did that, Ted. I don't know how the hell he did that, but, fair fuck to the man. Fair fuck.
Stephen Hill's asking Boris, does your dad still go to the pub with Philip Schofield? Don't see anything wrong with that.
No, I didn't see anything wrong with that. If he is going to the pub with Philip Schofield, that is absolutely fine. The after parties, that is my concern.
Yeah. I would be. Chris Adamson, hi guys. Question for Boris. Will you be training the new Bairn up to be Prime Minister? Also, I'm raw as an untouched steak downstairs. I need lockdown to end. When will it happen? He's got a bit of a rare cheb on what he's saying there. Are you training up? Are you training up Wilfred?
Absolutely. What I'm going to do is not train up Wilfred to be Prime Minister, because I wouldn't really want him to deal with all the shit that I'm dealing with right now. But what I would do is I would train him up, or get somebody to train him up to be a UFC fighter, because that is what we want. We want another champion from Britain. And I want my son to be an absolute badass. And if he can do to people what I did to that guy when I played football, if sports are in our family. You've seen me do the overhead thing when I got the basketball in. The whole family are sporty people, but I reckon he can be the next UFC fighter. Yes.
Good. Barry Small, DJ Barry Small, is asking, can you hurry up and send the kids back to school? He's sick of the little shits fighting and eating crisps all day. All his crisps, to be precise. I'm guessing you're a Quavers man, Barry. What's your thoughts on this, Donald? I'm sick of the little bastards down the park, to be honest, when they should be just at home in lockdown playing on the Mega Drives and stuff.
Yes. By the way, it's Boris, not Donald.
Oh shit! You look like him.
So what I would suggest for that, Barry, is I completely get what you're saying. I said it earlier. We want them to go back. There is nothing worse than them two fighting, and especially when they are eating all your crisps. Do you know what? My advice to you, if they are eating all your crisps, is just don't buy any crisps. And if you want a bag of crisps, lock your door, go to the corner shop and buy a packet of spicy Transformer snack. They are the best crisps ever. You can eat them on the way home. You will not have to be in the place of your children, and it will be absolutely fantastic. And you will enjoy every single. What are Transformer snacks, by the way? Are they like sort of wheels? You have the wheels, and then you have the body, and then you have something else. I think. Make yourself little cars and eat them. They are unbelievable crisps.
They sound great. I once ate a packet of pickled onion Space Raiders, but then rubbed my bell end straight afterwards, and it knacked for a week. So don't do that.
That is very painful. Because what annoys me as well, when he talks about the children are taking his crisps, there is nothing worse when you say, so for example, earlier on, I'm in the kitchen and I said to my wife, I said, I'm getting a sandwich. Do you want anything? And she says, no. I go back into the front room. Can I have a little bite of your sandwich? No, you fucking can't. You should have said earlier that
What'd she call you that for?
Well, absolutely. It really annoys me. If you want a bag of crisps, go and get a bag of crisps. Don't start fucking stealing everybody else's.
Yeah. Tell her there's no need to drop the C-bomb like that as well. Absolutely. You know what I mean? Starmer or Corbyn, who is the biggest bell whiff? This is a tough one.
This is a very difficult one to contend with. However, I would probably say, because I had a lot more of my confrontations with him, is Jeremy Corbyn. I would got to say Starmer. By the way, Starmer sort of give me a couple of knockout blows today in Parliament, so I'm going to get that bastard back tomorrow. So yes, he did get me with a couple today. Fucking bastard! You see, I get very competitive.
Boris, have you ever, when you've been like visiting and campaigning around the Teesside area, have you ever had a palm or someone just commented there saying you look like you've had quite a few, like Sean Gilgallen? What's your thoughts?
Well, a palmo is, as far as I'm aware, what Donald Trump told me what it was, because apparently Trump is going to bring out his own Trump palmos. Yeah. Fucking whatever. So basically, yes, I've heard of a palmo, but I've never had one. So Sean Gilgallen, you look like you've had quite a few. I assume a palmo is a very healthy meal.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, most people in Teesside have about 4 or 5 a week, so they can't be that bad, can they?
Of course.
So Tony Norman is asking, would Boris give Di Abbott one? You might have to tell her what the numerical number 1 means, just in case she got confused and thought she was in a gangbang.
Would I give Diane Abbott one? I've got to say, Ted, if I had a choice of giving Diane Abbott one, or licking Theresa May's fanny, I would probably say licking Theresa May's fanny. And by the way, she doesn't shave, so it would be even more horrendous.
Oh my God! Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to reenact. Right, imagine you're in a pub, right, and you're going to chat. You've seen Theresa May, right? She's leaning against the Homer Simpson fruit machine, where it's in the factory, and you can win at least £15 jackpot, and she's leaning there and she sees you, right? And it'll be played by the Boglin, right? So imagine it's just Theresa May, right? Hey, Donald, you fancy buying us a drink? Know what I mean?
Do you know what I would say? I would say, Theresa, give me, it's now 7 p.m. Give me another 3 hours. By then, I will be wasted. That way, the only way I would lick your fanny is if I fell asleep in it.
Well, you don't know it's proper early, like, don't you?
Well, yes, it is early, but what I'm saying is I need to get absolutely inebriated in order to lick you out. So, yes, I suggest that you come back in about 4 hours' time.
Oh, I'd definitely give you a gob over. We took that a bit too far there, didn't we?
We did. It was rather. I mean, we're actually going to get offers from Pornhub for that, Ted. I think absolutely.
Yeah. Mally James has asked Boris, as you're usually surrounded by loads of policemen, have you ever touched Bobby's helmet? I like that.
Well, of course, I've touched many Bobby's helmets over the years. I I've touched them when they were moving. I've touched them when they are in a seated position. I have touched them when they were alone and nobody was around, and they were just there on a table. I've touched many, and in fact, on many occasions, I've got both of my hands around Bobby's helmet. It actually feels quite nice.
Very nice. Well, as every week, we like to invite a special guest on to ask a question. The phone in the show. Normally, it's somebody very, very famous. I think you'll recognise this person.
Ted, before we move on, there's something else Donald did ask me about, and that was what is a flange zone?
A flange zone is it's a very important part of Middlesbrough where people can meet before a football game, primarily fit flange, and drink overpriced Heineken, and then go and watch a terrible football match, then meet afterwards and have a finger of fudge. That's basically the laws of the flange zone. Does that make sense?
Oh, right. They sound fantastic, I've got to say. It's just Donald did say, when you are on there with Ted, I can't do his voice, but you know what Donald's like. He said, when you get in touch with Ted, ask him about the flange zones. He said they're incredible. So thank you so much. Sorry for interrupting you. Otherwise, I would have forgot all about it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, I'll tell you what. We'll play the message of our very special caller, who I think you recognise, who, in my opinion, is an absolute cockwomble. Can we play the recording, please?
I would like to say, Ted, that I am absolutely loving the show. And what makes it more humorous this week is the fact that Boris, our Prime Minister, is managing to tackle words that you are throwing at him, which are clearly not in the English dictionary. And I think it is so funny to see that. However, I have checked in the English and the Latin dictionary that bell whiffs and flange zones are not in the dictionary. However, I think, Prime Minister, we ought to make them. Once again, well done. Fantastic show. And I've got to say, Ted, I would love to meet you at one point. You are more than welcome to come to my house for dinner with Big Fat Julie. And feel free to bring round a Parmo, because I am so bored of the same shit that we are all eating right now, and I believe that the food is too posh, and we need to have a bit of a change in our country, and we need to have more of Ted HANKY. Hence the reason I want the words that you use to be put into our English dictionary, and I'm sure that the Prime Minister would strongly agree with me. Once again, Prime Minister, very well done, and I would love to see you on the show next week. Hence, the fact that the Eton boys stick together. So I would like to say up the Eton posse and up the Borough.
Oh, interesting there. I like the way you brought up the Eton posse there. I'm part of a local cunnilingus group called the Eton Pussy. So you're welcome to join us, Boris.
That sounds incredible. Oh yes, the Eton posse. We were little bastards. We used to do lots of things. We used to knock on people's doors and run away, while Theresa May was running through a field of wheat and thinking that was badass. I mean, holy shit.
Did you shag a pig like Cameron?
Do you know what? No, I didn't. I did not shag a pig. However, I was at that party when it apparently happened. It was at a farmhouse, and Dave went missing for about I would say it was around about 7 minutes. And we were wondering what the squealing was, and he came back full of mud and a huge smile on his face. So there we go.
I mean, stuff like that happens. I was once eating some hummus and I was falling asleep and I dropped it on my crotch and Branko licked it off for me, and I didn't realise until he'd got right round the shaft. So Branko's my dog, by the way.
What did the dog do? I mean, did you have a happy ending with this?
Well, I did, yeah. He got a sticky face. You know what I mean?
The worst thing about that happening to a dog is, for example, if it happens to a lady, she can wipe her face like this. Whereas a dog, I mean, good Lord, can you imagine your poor dog? I'm sure he woke you up because he was trying to do this, trying to get it off.
Yeah,
sticking together like, oh God, I just can't bear to imagine.
It reminded me, before we answer Tracy Wood's question, leave that one on the screen, please, because it's relevant. It reminds me of a time I was at a party in Berwick Hills and I once monkey faced a lady. Do you know what monkey facing is?
I really do know what is monkey facing.
Monkey facing is where you release your jizz onto a face and then pull your pubes off and throw it at her. So it gives her a monkey's face.
Oh my good lord, good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to share.
Well, of course, but I'm sure it's. I'm sure you have to be there, I suppose, on a situation where you have to not do that in the middle of the field. You would have to be surely in a Premier Inn to do things like that.
Oh no, I was just in like it's the one scruffy living room in Berwick Hills. Anyway, Tracy Wood has asked a very relevant question here. Tracy runs a beauty salon. I'm trying to guess which one she is on that photo, but I'd bang them all to be honest. How am I going to cope with all the early women once lockdown is over? What are you going to do to keep yourself looking beautiful at home?
Well, I've got to say, on behalf of my wife, and I'm sure every single other woman who is in the UK right now, Tracy, men are crying out for this. Men are crying out for their missus to have a good bloody wax and get the bloody lot off. But I will warn you. The barber's floor, the salon floor, will look like a ZZ Top concert. I'm not joking. It's going to be horrendous. So by the time lockdown is over, I mean, I don't think I can bear another week with my wife. It's starting to go. She's starting to get a crab's ladder, Ted. That's terrible.
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest, like I suffer from like a little bit sort of growing round these bits here, you know what I mean? But I just don't want to shave them off because they grow back thicker, apparently, Tracy, if you can give me some advice on that. Richie Barnes has asked, Boris, do you think you could knock Trump out? And if so, please do the fucker.
I tell you what we'll do, Ted, if it's okay with you, and you can be the promoter for this, me and Donald Trump to have the fisticuffs outside of a pizza shop in Linthorpe Road, and we will fight for a Palmer.
Wow. You heard it here first, Matters. Johnson and Trump, the fight for the bechamel sauce belt. It's going to be an absolute beauty. Craig John Dodsworth's asking, is Theresa May sweet or sour down there? It's
well, I've got to say, I really can't say. I mean, what I said when I said, I think Craig misunderstood what I said earlier on. The media are the same. Basically, Craig John Dodsworth. Basically, I said I would rather lick Theresa May's fanny than shag Diane Abbott. I didn't say that I have licked Theresa May's fanny. I have never been down there because I am not a geologist, and I can imagine it would probably be worse than anything. So I don't know. If you really want to know that information, I'll probably ask the lads tomorrow at the Commons Bar, and because I'm sure a few of them have been down there.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'd have a bash on me, like, regardless. I really would. Buddy Small is getting some good stage time tonight. Boris, are you a stand-up or sit-down man to wipe your ass after the dump? I think that's a very relevant question that we all need to know the answer to.
Well, I mean, obviously, it all depends. Because when you are sat down doing it, you have to do the lean over, don't you? The lean over and try to, however, when you are stood up, you've got the whole space around you. You've got the, for example, this is the toilet. I'm here. I can get the toilet roll and I can get a right good bloody. I can get right up there and I can get the bloody lot out. So I would probably say a stand-up one, but you have to be in a sumo wrestler's position. So you have to be sort of like this. So you bend down, so they open up, and then you're right in there and get the bloody.
Good advice. Good advice. And then the important bit is to wash your hands for 30 seconds afterwards while singing Aswad. I think that was the message, wasn't it? Yeah. Shine like a... Is that the song? I don't know.
Shine like a song. I've got to say, I do love that song, Ted. It's one of the classics.
Oh, just farted there. Genuinely did. I love it. I can't help it. It just comes out. Matt Oakes. Oh, I can't concentrate now. Right. Boris. Oh, God. Hang on. Just show me a piece out of it there. Oh. Yeah, that's better. Boris, have you ever had a danger wank in the Commons? I think that's a good question, that.
Yes. Well, obviously, there was do you know? I don't think I have. But however, that is a very good question, Maddox. And I think I might try. Try. I don't know whether should I try it. Will it be more of a danger wank if I do it in front of the cameras? If the cameras are there, do you think I can try it? Because if I can manage to have a danger wank when there's no cameras, when there is cameras there, I seriously think that I would be better than the CIA and the FBI put together.
I think more of a danger wank if you went over to the opposition side and did it over there when they weren't watching. That would be proper dangerous, wouldn't it?
Oh yes, right over bloody right over Jeremy Corbyn's back, because he's now a backbencher, so I think we get away with it.
Yeah, that's a good call. That is it true you were caught skiing with Rees-Mogg and Hancock in the wine cellar at number 10? If you're unfamiliar what skiing is, it's where you wank off two men.
Skiing? No, but we once woke up when we were all in a party, and I did have a dream that I was skiing, and we were both all asleep, and I woke up, and it wasn't the nicest, I've got to say.
Doesn't sound it either. When was Boris last in the Steelworks Club in Westburn Road, and did he get a free pint of Minto? I don't have a fucking clue what that is, but it sounds lush.
A Minto sounds amazing, doesn't it, Ted? Well, listen. Next time I am in the Northeast, I am definitely going to definitely pop in. I'm going to say, Tony Newman, get me a pint of Minto because you said it was free. Yeah. And if he says no, it's not free, I will cause absolute fucking carnage in there.
Jim Howard asked there, how many 2p coins can you fit in your foreskin, Boris? For me, I can get at least 4 in there and 3 pennies as well. What about you? I'm so sorry, but I wouldn't be able to put any in, so to speak. Yeah, you'll probably roll 50s at one, you and slide them down your urethra. Right, next question, please. Good question, that, Jim. I like that. It's a maths question, I think. Have we got anything else? Come on, we'll have a few more questions before I need to go and wipe my arsehole. Matt Oakes asked another question here. When we go back to graft, how can we socially distance when we are dropping the kids off at work when the next cubicle is less than 2 meters away? That's a very good point, that, because I've been in the cubicle before and I've heard someone next to me like, proper dropping the guts and stuff like that, and the smell comes through. Surely there's particles of shit coming through on that spell, and someone before was wiping his bum and he dropped the toilet roll onto the floor, and I seen shitty toilet roll on my half of the cubicle. It was terrible.
Well, that is horrendous. What concerns me more, I would say, Matt, is if people are coming out of the cubicle next to you or the one before. I would say the most concern is when they are coming out and doing this and sniffing, because if they are sniffing, there is a chance they could have the coronavirus. So just be very, very careful about that.
I've got a question for you before we answer Mark Dickinson's question here, right? Is there a way with these COVID-19 tests that we can supply them as a primary option, first choice, to all the slags? Because they're going to be, as soon as lockdown's done, right, they're going to be going out, they're going to be getting their asses knocked in, right? Purely they want to do a quick COVID test on their chosen lover or one of their chosen lovers of that night, just to make sure they're not spreading the disease around. I'm open to it. It's better than wearing a Johnny.
Yes, Ted, that is a very, very good point. And I will bring it up tomorrow. And I think that is where I will get the point scoring tomorrow against Starmer. Yes, 1-1. Have that, you bastard. Yes, and I really think it's very important because I can just imagine you go to a whorehouse, not that I've ever been to one, and you are testing all the girls. They're absolutely dripping. They're dripping, Ted. And you give them all a test, and 3 of them come back and they've got COVID-19. I mean, what do you say to them? Just go back home and frig off, for God's sake.
Yeah, literally. Like Mark Dickinson. All right, Ted, isn't a bell whiff the result of blowing a spunk bubble? Fucking hell. Well, I was once watching a really, really sensual version of Murder, She Wrote, and I was getting a bit too much into the thrust like that. I put too much baby lotion on, and I created my own spunk bubble, but instead of popping it, I just let it float away into the horizon. But Mark's referring to actual bubbles coming out of your eye, your foreskin.
Well, that was a very good point what you made, Ted, actually, because when it actually did go into a bubble and it went out of the window, did it go out of the window? Because if it did, that could be very scary. You could have a half man, half bird outside. We should look out for that, because you could quite possibly be the parent of that. So, yes. Sorry, what was he saying? Has it ever happened to me? Have I ever had a spunk? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I do not. I do not recall any. However, I will make an effort to try and get one, because, like you said before, if you use lots of lotion, I'm sure it wouldn't coincide with the muck, and then just form a lovely bubble and just float into the air and hopefully kill the fly that you've been trying to bloody kill all day.
Yeah. My advice is use a more less bubbly stimulant to give you the smooth stroke, such as lard. But Richie Barnes said Boris will need football back ASAP. Yeah, we do, Richie. Good point. That we covered that earlier on. Football is coming back. We just don't know when. We'll have some more questions before we bid you farewell tonight. You know what I mean? Who have we got next up, Mr. Joe Pittman? Easy pink. That's why he has so many kids. You like the pot the easy pink, is that right? Or do you go for the difficult brown?
Do you know, it all depends. It all depends. I do like it. I do like a little. Well, obviously, pink is the number one area. It's just easy. You get in there, you get on with business. However, when it comes to the brown, it is. I don't know what it is, but women get very funny as soon as you put your hands near there. They're like, my wife says, no, thank you. I said, what do you mean, no fucking thank you? Honestly, I don't think they appreciate us sometimes, Ted.
They do, yeah. Julie's always saying to me, will you rub my balloon knot? Will you tickle my tea towel holder? And I do. She loves it. She really enjoys that. She does. Christopher Hackworth. Boris, can you ban the Hartlepool United Supporters Trust from existing proper Belarus, and can you chuck a few quid towards Hartlepool United? You've got a few quid. Are you familiar with the monkey hangers?
Yes, of course I'm familiar with the monkey hangers. And Christopher Hackworth, yes, I certainly will. And the Hartlepool Supporters Trust, I would probably have to investigate the situation before it did go any further. So yes, but however, I would want to see it all kick off first and me get a few free pints out of it, just so I can watch a night out in Hartlepool act properly and people kicking off and getting off their face.
Yeah, good. And Andrew Cooper, Andy Cooper, I'm going to call him because I don't know him. Boris, do you like domination and strangulation during sexual interaction? Because you look the type. But you know what, Andrew? I'm just going to point something out here. You did really well spelling all in big words like domination and strangulation and sexual interaction, and then you use the word course instead of cost. You know, that's just poor, isn't it? But anyway, answer the question.
First of all, Andrew, extremely bad grammar. Domination and strangulation. Well, obviously, I like to be dominated, but I'm not too much of a dominating person. For example, if my wife wants to take it up the Gary glitter, I will first of all ask her permission. I would not just ram it up there dry. So I wouldn't say that I'm a person who is full of domination. However, strangulation, I just think that's downright fucking stupid. And anybody who does do that, I just think is ridiculous. I mean, choking, you can bloody die.
Yeah. Julie tried to peg me before with a really large carrot, and I wasn't happy about it, put it that way. But, I'd had a few drinks, so I just got on with it. John Burns, Boris, is brown starfish a better southern delicacy than jellied eels?
I've got to say, as much as the conversations that me and Ted have been having, I'm not a huge fan of fish. I do love a nice salmon and a little bit of caviar, but the only other fish I like is the same fish that Ted likes, and the same brand that Big Fat Julie has got.
Yeah, Julie's kippers. Tony Seaman, here he is. He's been quiet all night and he hasn't asked a question about any brown canoes. Well done, Tony Seaman. I like the way how you're looking like a shit Terminator in that picture. Well done, mate. Boris, are you known in Parliament as a turd burglar? I don't know what that means.
Say, Tony, if you use the word turd burglar, we have actually been talking about you all night, considering your second name. But I've got to say, Tony, and also you're wearing a hoodie, so how the fuck can I trust you? No, I'd say no, absolutely not. If anybody is going to be known to be a turd burglar, it is going to be actually I can't say the name because for legal reasons. However, it used to be another politician, which I also can't say for legal reasons, but there are lots of people with that name.
I don't even know what it means. I hope it's not very offensive. It better not be. Stuart W. Smith, does Boris back the jobby burner? Again, what does that mean?
Donald Trump did tell me about a jobby burner, and he said he's going to start it off in Scotland. Because in Scotland they call a jobby a poo. I've been with you. You're familiar with, and basically it's another word for bleach. But I think because of the name jobby burner, it stands out. And basically Trump seems to think he's going to buy out Domestos.
Good answer there.
Enough, me and Donald Trump are having a conversation about bleach.
Have you ever launched a brown canoe into the Thames, Boris? It's going to come up every week.
Into the Thames, no, but I have launched a brown canoe. I was briefed on this word, by the way, and I've got to say it's a very, very good word. I remind you to put it in the English dictionary.
Yeah. It's good, right? Okay, we've got a really good question here from Chris Adamson, right? You've heard the game of snog, marry, avoid, and finger. Well, this one's just called snog, marry, avoid. Your fellow politicians, who are you going for, Bozza? So out of all your politicians, who would you snog, marry, and avoid? Shall I give you 3 to choose from? Would that help?
Yes, that's probably the best thing to do.
Okay, so Diane Abbott, right? Theresa May and the Scottish woman who looks like Jeanette Cranky. Which one of them would you snog, marry, and avoid?
That is a bloody hard decision, isn't it?
Yeah.
I would probably snog. Shit. I'd probably snog Nicola Sturgeon. I would marry Theresa May only because we've got the same political interests. Well, she says we have. I think she's full of shit. See,
good answer.
We're a married couple already. See that, Ted? See that fucking argument without her being here. And I would avoid Diane Abbott, obviously.
Good. She's a dick. Good question, that, Chris. Thank you very much. Right, we're going to have a couple of more questions to take us up to quarter to 11, and then it's fucking bedtime, you dickheads. So can we have 2 more questions? Marry Nicola or Sturgeon. She's saying you should marry Nicola Sturgeon. It could have benefits.
My choice was to snog Nick Sturgeon because I think she'd be a very good kisser, but I think sometimes she would just be nagging the shit out of you, especially when you're out with the boys.
Yeah, well, you were complaining earlier about Theresa May's growler. Well, from personal experience, the Scottish like a growler. Tony Norman, will Boris wear gloves now when he shakes hands, especially after the nam shank?
Well, one thing I would like to say, Tony, is when you have had a masturbation, as I call it, wash your hands anyway, because I mean, if you are, there. I mean, I do remember one time I was in the bath and as a young 13, 14-year-old, there I was, pounding away like a man possessed, and he went into the bath and my mother said, "Boris, leave the water in." And holy shit, I was petrified that I was going to get my mother pregnant. It was awful. It was bloody awful. So also make sure you put it somewhere where it's going to be out of the reach of anybody. And yes, of course, you wash your hands all the time when you've had a ham shank.
Good advice there from the Prime Minister. Let's have a look. Boris, if you'd ever come to the Buddha, you won't catch COVID-19, but I can guarantee you would get a size 10 boot up your ass. That sounds like just a very gentle threat, and I think it might be.
What I would say, Tony, is if you're trying to run me over, you've got a very small boot.
Yeah, it's a good comeback there, Boris. Well done. Can we have one more question, please, Mr. Joe Pitman? Because I really do need a shit. Gareth Millward, if you could give an adult movie name to the pandemic, what would you call it? That's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah. Very good question. If I could have an adult pandemic, I reckon Lethal Weapon threesome, something like that, because it's quite lethal to have sex in a threesome if somebody has to come in to join in. So there we go. Lethal Weapon threesome. That's what I call it.
Very good, yeah. I'd have COVID over 19s. And I'd probably also add, because everyone's going a bit zombie-like, I'd have Night of the Giving Head.
That sounds like that sounds incredible.
Yeah. Well, we'll just say we won't be the last question because this is just a statement. We'll have one more after this, Mr. Joe Pitman. So do your best to find a cracking one whilst we deal with this sticky semen. Ted, it looks like someone has shot his load over your napper. It's a good point now because I've moved on. I've run out of my usual Shockwaves gel, and I've had to get like this Best Buy gel from NASA's shop, NASA's Spice Station. It's called, and it's not very good. It's like a luminous green, and you have to wash your hands about 15 times afterwards. It just makes your hair a little bit more pungent and shit. So, but you've got to do what you do, haven't you, in these hard times? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Oh, we've got someone listening from Long Island, New York. I hope. Welcome if it is you. If you're not, fuck off because you're lying to us. But I hope you are really. Thanks for watching the show, mate. You know what I mean. Is that the last question then, Mr. Joe Pitman? Last question. Oh, this is a great one to finish the night on here. Stephen Hill, so you can stop your questions now. This is the final question. It's a beauty. Stephen Hill, Boris, who do you prefer? Holly Willoughby, or your dad's bit of toff?
I've got to say, my dad's a bit of toff on the side. He's genuinely quite outstanding. I mean, he's a bit of a boy, my dad. But I've got to say, hands down, Holly Willoughby. I mean, good lord, she's incredible.
She's fantastic, isn't she? She's what I call.
Well, I say hands down. I would say bloody pants down.
Pants down, grade A flange, really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Right, listen, thank you very much for watching tonight's Question Time TED Tackles with Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, and that. Listen, we're going to be back next week as well. I haven't decided who the guest is yet. Trumpy might be back. It might be Boris. He might be available. I don't know. We might have someone else yet. We'll wait and see. But listen, if you've enjoyed tonight's chat, there is some donate links in the comments and in the link for this live stream where you can buy me and Boris, just a packet of sherbet or 10 blackjacks or even a coffee or anything like that. So anything from 50 pence up to, if you want to donate £100, that's acceptable. We don't mind. But it does help us in these times because I don't know if you know, but Boris is on his ass at the moment because he hasn't been getting sick pay, have you, mate?
I've not been getting sick pay, and I'm absolutely skinned. It's a bloody nightmare. However, just to let everybody know, I do love my red wine. So there we go. There's a hint for everybody, and they can work out how much red wine costs and how many bottles they think that I will have on Friday. I bet about 12.
Yeah, and I like Razzle magazine as well. So, and that's about £4.20 for the copy.
And he has missed the last 10 editions. So you just work.
I've got a lot of catching up to do. Right, so thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Honestly, I don't know. Have you got anything else you need to share, Boris? Anything you need to promote? What about that arsehole you're not around with?
I'd highly recommend. There is something on Sunday night. It's called the Fanny and Danny Show. So make sure you tune in for that. It's 6:30 on Danny Postal Impressionists page, and also Stephanie Ed Laws. So make sure you tune in for that. That is on Sunday evening.
Very good. And I've launched a new episode of my podcast today as well. So if you have a look on that on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher and Podbean, or just look on my page, I've posted it on there. TED Talks, the TED HANKY podcast. It's proper class in that, you know what I mean. So thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday night. We'll see you same time next week. Up the butter and believe.